a direct message from a woman on this page, and I really enjoyed chatting with her. We were talking about steps and how to do the steps. And I want to tell you a little bit about my history, and maybe that will explain a little bit more why I'm doing this. I got sober when I was young. I got sober when I was 26. I think it was 26. And I got sober. I went to a treatment center, which was not as popular back then. And I went to the only one I knew of, which was in California, which is what brought me here to Palm Springs. I went to, gosh, my hair. I went to the Betty Ford Center, which a lot of you maybe have heard about. And it was back when it was a 12-step program. Mrs. Ford actually was alive then, and we actually went to the same AA meetings. It was pretty cool. But anyway, I got sober, and I went into treatment, and I did everything they told me. I got out, I stayed down here, I didn't go back to Washington State, and I went to outpatient program that they suggested I go to. I went to 90 meetings in 90 days. I got a sponsor, right? All those little things they say to do, and I started the steps. So I got a sponsor, and she had a sponsor, and she had a sponsor, and the whole AA thing. So it was a lot of AA history, and her sponsor was someone famous down here from the Pacific group over on the coast. So, kind of the who's who of AA. So anyway, I was involved in this group, and I don't really remember doing the first step. I think the first and second step and the third step I read out of the 12 and 12. I think she had me read out of the 12 and 12. And the third step, she got on her knees with me and we did the third step prayer together. Then the fourth step, we did like columns out of the book, out of How It Works, and the chapter How It Works out of the big book. I did that, and I did the fifth step with her. Now, I only did 3 columns, right? And then when we sat down and I did the fifth step, she wrote down all my character defects. And I didn't really know what was going on. I'm going to be honest. I didn't. Maybe I was too young. I'm very smart, so I didn't. But she wrote them down. And then she read them off to me at the end. And I was like, oh, And there was a lot of talk about my part. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And, I said I saw it. I had a lot of faith that this was going to work, and I was just doing what I was told, which I give a lot of credit to, right? So anyway, then we did the 6th and 7th prayer together right then, and I think the 8th step pretty much was, okay, here you're going to make a list of these people, and you're going to say you're sorry, and that. Not a lot of direction. Not like I give. Not like the group I'm from gives, right? We give a lot of direction because we want to keep you safe and the people you're making amends to safe. We don't want to cause more trouble, right? And then 10, 11, 12, I think those were I was supposed to read those off the board in the room. 10 is you say you're sorry really quick. 11 was Sattva prayer and meditation, which really is page 86, 87, and 88, and nobody told me that. That's the stuff I told you about first, that 11-step, inventory. That's really what that is. I never made that connection. Maybe someone told me and I didn't get it. And then 12 was helping others. Never really got the full the full comprehension that 10, 11, and 12 was action, and I had to do that every day to stay sober, right? So I stayed sober for 14 years, almost 15 years. And I did that just not drinking. And I went to a lot of AA, but I went more like it was a social thing. I went to women's meetings like they suggested, and I had great friends, and we became kind of a little clique, and everything seemed pretty good until I was about 9 years sober, and my sponsor got married and moved to back to Utah. And she let all of us go. All of her babies. She let us all go. And I don't know. I got a resentment. I didn't like the way she did it. I thought it was really weird. She'd become like my mother. Quite honestly, she had become my higher power. That was the problem. I made a human being my higher power. Not a good idea. And so I decided I wasn't going to get another sponsor, and I let all my sponsees go because all of a sudden I was really busy, right? All the program promises came true. I had a baby. I had a business. I was doing big things. As an interior designer, and I was living large, and everything was great. And so I decided to back up on the program. And it took a few years. I think it started like my backing up started when I was about 9 years. But by the time I was 14 years sober, I was full on out. I was on my own. I say to people, if you want to know how to relapse, is you work the steps backwards. 12, I kind of quit helping people. I let all my babies go. 11, I quit any prayer and meditation on a regular basis. You know what I mean? I just started working it backwards till I became powerful of my life again, and I took over, and I drank again. Now, when I drank again, it got so much worse. So much worse. I can't even tell you. I was so sick, I lost everything. Everything I had built up. Everything. My home, my cars, my savings, my 401k plans, my health insurance, my family, my friends, my health, everything was gone. And I could not get sober again. I was trying. I was going to meetings, and I was crying in meetings, and having to go run out to the car and drink and come back in and say, please help me, why can't I stay sober, right? Oh, Jesus, it was horrible. And then I finally found this group, and they were a no-nonsense group, and they talked only out of the big book. They were for people like me, people either with long-term sobriety that relapsed and couldn't get back, people that relapsed over and over and over again, new people, anybody. They helped people, and everything was out of the book. No opinions, no bullshit, no all this other stuff. It was also group sponsorship. You put your dependence on God, and they all took you through the steps. And we went to the priest for a 5th step, so there was no holding anything out. I didn't have to worry about that. And there was actually every step. Oh, I did a step, every step, and I understood it. And the 4th step, my world changed because I got to see myself for the first time. Like, all of a sudden, the angels appeared and sang, and I figured out what was wrong with me, right? I had to understand alcoholism in all its manifestations. I had to understand that I was the problem. My alcoholic thinking is the problem, right? The drinking and the drugging is my solution to my problem. And if you take away my answer, drinking, I am going to have to do something else to fix my irritable, restless, and discontent. And if I don't, I'm going to drink and use again. So when I see people on this Facebook page come on and they're like, I don't know what happened. Oh my God, I blew it again. I can't stay sober. I'm giving up. I can't do this. I can't take it anymore. I get it, right? A lot of us get it. We have been where you're at. Some people get sober and stay sober the first time. Mazel tov. Good for you. Yay. That is great experience. You get to help someone else like you. Not my story. Not my story. Gosh. So I want to explain that why I'm doing this is because there is an answer. It is not vague. It is not elusive and kind of, I'm not really sure, let's just do this. There is an answer. Every step is, and I believe it's out of the book. The 12 and 12 is great. It's a great explanation. Bill wrote that. Bill did the steps first. There's some history here. I want to do some history on this, but I'll stop here and I'll do another one because these get too long. I've got too much to say. But first, I wanted to kind of tell you my story and why I think it's so important to have an answer of depth and weight. Okay, so that's the first part. The next part, what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk a little bit about the big book and why I'm having you read for step 1. And then I want to move this along. I think people, what we'll do is let's just move along, get you through the readings, get you through the steps, and then we'll do a big book study. Whoever wants to do a big book study, we can do that on Facebook Live. So you can learn about the book, the answer. You have to know what's wrong with you to fix it, right? You have to. You have to know, or you're doomed to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. If you think this is about drinking, you're wrong. That's the problem. So anyway, let's talk about that more in a minute. Bye.